This conference will now be recorded.
All right, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stephanie, your community manager. Hello, Country Club. We're all excited for this board meeting tonight. Before we call the meeting to order, just a few things to go over. We've had two really great past board meetings with a process that we were using with our microphone and how we ask questions and stuff, because I know sometimes everyone in the audience likes to get involved, but everybody online can't hear when the people are asking those questions in the audience. And even though we've been asking you to come forward, sometimes you don't. So we have solved that problem. We're going to come to you. So we have a microphone set up. So if you do have a comment after it is opened to the audience for comments, when the president does that, if you could please raise your hand and we will come to you with a microphone, okay, and then you'll be able to speak. For those of you online, I am going to be monitoring the chat online, so if you could please be patient with me, but we will try to get to everyone's comments and questions online as well. But with that being said, I'm going to pass you over to John Lambert, our board president.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Certificate of quorum, we have 3 board members present and James is online. Proof of notice was posted more than 48 hours ago. Approval of past minutes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Any discussion by the board? Any questions by the audience? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Next on the list is the treasurer's report. Alan?
I don't think I need this for that. Oh, there it is.
We need it for that.
I think they can hear me.
Okay.
If not, if you can't hear me, I'll use the microphone, but hopefully speaking loud enough. Just waiting for Stephanie to pull it up.
Yep, give me one moment. Okay.
All right, cool. For anybody who was at last month's board meeting, it's gonna be a little deja vu. So the first slide is on our cash position, and obviously this is key because cash is critical for paying our bills and et cetera. So if you look at it year over year, we're slightly ahead, 2024 versus 2023 with almost 1.1.5 million on hand. The majority of that money, if it's not coming up in the next 30 to 60 days, is invested, somewhere around 4.5% interest on that money, similar to the reserves. Anybody who's been around for a while knows that we had no reserves prior to last year, and we started to build those up January 1st of 2023. Currently sitting almost at 620,000. That increases by about 40,000 a year. So we're slowly incrementing that up. Should be around $1 million at the end of the year. Our current expected spend for this year is around 40K. The largest chunk of that is the painting for the plaza. We're going to actually combine interior and exterior because we got some discounts, and that's one of the items on the agenda later on. Villas is starting to build up a reserve, still small, but increasing by about 6,000 a month. Again, we're earning interest and making the money work for us. I mean, when there's inflation, there's higher interest rates, so costs go up, but we actually earn a little bit on the money, which is nice. Next slide, Stephanie. So just a quick revenue snapshot, year to date as well as prior year. So again, revenue is up year over year by a little over 100,000, which is a good thing. We're slightly behind budget, but not significant. Golf, again, almost I think it was actually identical numbers to last month, 21,000 in merch. And again, similar story, coming off of year end where everybody spent down their credit book and we brought the stock down. We're just building that back up. So hopefully we'll see increases in merchandise spending. And then a little bit off in golfing. But again, if you remember, we got a big drop off in annual pass holders. So we made that up with other sources of golfing revenue. The golf grill, again, I mentioned this last time, but I think we were a bit aggressive on our front ending of some of the revenues. So kind of if you look at last year, through March, we had 129,000 of revenue and we had a budget of 205 this year. So we probably front ended it a little bit. Not saying it's going to get exponentially easier in the latter half of the year, but we should see that variance reverse a little bit. Plaza's pretty close, and again, if you look at a comparison to prior years' overall revenue, 65 compared to budget, we were down 112 last year compared to budget. Next one, expense. Again, overall favorable, favorable in golf and some of the other admin aspects. The one little unfavorable one is the plaza. That really relates to a couple of things. Some is the salaries. There was some overtime in there, and James G., who's going to be a few minutes late, has already worked to correct that issue. And also there's non-inventory purchases. So we purchase cooking fuels like propane and cooking oils, et cetera. Those come in when we need them, and they're not inventoried, so they just go right to expense, but they get used, ratably over 1 or 2 months. Similar things with janitorial supplies, paper supplies, et cetera. So again, I would expect to see that negative variance kind of improve as we go throughout the rest of the year. And then just some other items to note. We're in the final throes of the audit. We gave the last request to the auditors. I sent it to them Friday night. So now we're just waiting to have them come back to us with whatever proposed audit adjustments they have, and then final sign off. Obviously, John will have to sign a rep letter, and so does First Service. I don't know if everything can get turned around by the end of the month, but hopefully early January at the latest. Plaza accounts receivable, you'll also see an agenda item later related to what a collection policy. But we still have outstanding balances from folks that, as we migrated to Forties, didn't set up an account and put a credit card on file. So we have some outstanding balances that we need to collect on. So we'll touch on the policy. I won't deal with it here. Overall delinquencies, no significant change. I think they're actually slightly down from prior month. But we still tend to be very aggressive on, we file notices, we file liens, and we then take foreclosure actions to, hopefully prompt the owner to pay. If not, worst case, their home gets foreclosed, we get out an owner who's not paying, we get an owner who's paying. And oftentimes, since the house has a lien on it, they have to, they inherit that debt to us. So generally speaking, to date, we've collected on most of our outstanding. When someone's running 6-9 months behind, they usually end up paying. We prefer not to do that, although it is somewhat beneficial because we get late fees and interest at a nice little rate. But we'd rather have everybody pay on time, upfront, et cetera. And then last thing, golf course beautification. There's the upcoming Memorial Day event, but just as a nice little number there, inception to date, over $175,000 has been raised for golf course beautification, which is a huge number. And that's from all sources. So some people have made individual donations. Other people have participated in the Memorial Day events and things like that. But kudos to, the community for coming out and supporting. And if you look at hole 15 and some of the other holes that the efforts have been spent on, looks great. So with that, I'll take any questions.
There's nothing online at the moment.
All right, we can ask at the end of it as well. So.
All right, we're going to move on to the manager's report, which is, we'll start with arrears. Currently for the month of April, this management report is reporting on the month of April. And for arrears, the association is owed just over $98,000, which is a little less than it was in March. So we are headed in the right direction for that. We closed on 11 homes in the month of April. So 11 homes sold within the community. We had 38 inquiries to our customer care center. Of those 38, 9 of them were escalated to on-site management. We had 581 work orders open in the month of April. 340 of those were closed, and to date, we have 14 work orders open. Violations for the month of April, we issued 37 violations, 17 violations were closed, and to date we have 85 violations currently open. We had 2 architectural review committee meetings during the month of April. 34 applications were processed. Of those, 24 of them were approved, 6 of them were conditionally approved, 1 application was tabled, and 3 were denied. For landscaping, few landscaping things. New annual flowers were installed throughout the common areas of the community. A few of those annual flowers do need to be replaced, so United will be working on that this week. We also had a few big irrigation repairs. We had two big irrigation repairs done on Bunker. One was a lateral line repair, the other was a 4-inch main line repair and decoder replacement. And we are also working on some enhancements. We just finished resodding and enhancing the irrigation on the Mickelson Court roundabout. We're about to do the Plaza Clubhouse, the front of the parking lot area. So that's going to be resodded with St. Augustine grass and also irrigated. Right now it's unirrigated Bahia grass. And then we're also working right now on proposals, which is not completed yet, but for the pro shop area at the end where it meets Bunker in the little cul-de-sac area. United did send out communication that we are very much in dry season right now. So it's very common to see all of the non-irrigated areas of the community become brown. It is Bahia sod, and it's meant to turn brown when it goes dormant. But once it rains, it does bounce back. But United has asked homeowners that if you are experiencing any dry issues with your yard, if you could submit a work order through their system so they could come and do an irrigation check on your home. Sorry. Some projects that we worked on. We had the wall repaired in the gym. We had, we believe, a medicine ball hit the wall. So we had a company come in, repair the wall. They also installed a diamond plate to prevent further damage to the wall. And then they repainted everything and reinforced the wall. We had Wayne Automatic on site to provide the annual inspection for sprinklers and backflow proposals. So that's going to be done very soon. All of our pool licenses were renewed. The Osceola County Health Department was on site for some health inspections. We passed everything. And just a reminder that hurricane season is around the corner. I did start already to send out the hurricane guide for 2024. And I've sent out various emails as well, just regarding hurricane safety. So I will be annoying you for the next few weeks with hurricane safety information. And then lastly, the board is revisiting our parking policy within the community because we've had some concerns over parking and enforcement and is it working. So they are revisiting the parking policy. They do plan on consulting with the association attorney. So once they have a new revised policy plan in place, it will be presented to the community. But right now it's just in the works. That is it for me. I know we have Chris Russell here, our head golf pro, and then James Guinan, our food and beverage director. He is going to be a little late to this meeting, so we can start with Chris. And then if James comes before you're done, he can present. If not, he can present when he gets here.
How's everyone doing? Chris Russell, for those that do not know me.
You have to use it because online.
Here, so if you could get over here too.
For those who do not know me, Chris Russell, I've been here for about 5 months now. I do not want to take Mr. Stone's, a few of his highlights because I know he'll be reviewing a few things in the community. But really for today, my notes, I want to go over what our goals are for the summer, and what our community goals need to be on the golf course side, how we're going to get there. And we're looking more for it from a camaraderie side to build a sense of neighborhood, for more people to become involved on the golf side, not just golf, but the food and beverage events as well. So that's something that James will touch on as well. But I think the biggest thing that I want the membership to take away is if you have an idea, please come to us, let us know. I mean, we're here to.
Hey, Chris, I'm so sorry. If you could come closer to this microphone.
Sure. We are here to make your lifestyle better, more enjoyable. And in doing so, I think hearing your thoughts, your plans, what you would like to see on the golf side is going to help a great deal. From the Wednesday night league that Mr. Harris has brought up to us, the Thursday night beginners league that I know Ms. Hughes has a lot to do with, even the darts night that I believe McNally kind of started. Co-partner. So it's things like that that are going to allow us to to better serve you, to better have, or to have more ideas and more, again, build a sense of camaraderie and togetherness in the neighborhood. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
We're all waiting for James.
Throw it for James. Stephanie, I had one quick question for you.
Yes,
The work orders, the 581,
yes.
that's not United, that's just first service work orders?
No, those are United.
Oh, they are too, okay.
Yeah.
And how many, do you know how many roughly between landscaping? I'm just curious how many first service is getting and what the type of those are. And is there anything we can do to alleviate, if it's.
So
also
we
a cost?
really don't get many on the
Okay.
service work orders.
That's United.
The ones that we get in the first service system are usually for United anyway.
okay.
So we either enter them in United's work order system for them, or we contact the owner and let them know to put their work order in the United system. Other ones that we get in the first service system are usually like there's a light pole out, so then we contact Duke Energy, or just simple things like that. Some sidewalk repair issues, things like that.
Okay, so nothing that we could take action on and sort of like reduce that number of calls necessarily. Okay, thanks.
We do have a question online. So someone is asking, why is the revised parking policy taking so long? The same update was presented at the last board meeting, and it's been a year since the previous revised policy was put into effect with no success.
Well, the board, thank you.
I'm so sorry. I hope that the batteries, oh, there we go. Yeah, yes.
The board's been discussing a variety of different things in regards to the policy itself. We realize that there's some loose ends as far as being able to enforce it and so forth. We're trying to figure out, or we've been discussing ways to better improve that. We have several ideas. We want to talk to the attorney's opinion to make sure that it's okay to move forward. Once we get the attorney's approval, then we'll move forward with updating the policy, reviewing it, and then discussing it at a board meeting, approving it, and then sharing it with the community, then approving it. So that's where we're at right now in regards to that. But there are some areas in the community where parking is on the street. You can't catch them all the time unless you're there at the specific time. So we're trying to figure a way to eliminate that and be able to get it right away. So that's really what it is. There's times when we just can't catch them because it's at 10 o'clock at night, Stephanie's not going around, or 3 o'clock in the morning, something along that line. So we're looking at a better way to do it to where we don't have to be able to be on the road 24/7 to be able to catch folks.
Yeah, we have some repeat offenders who seem to know when we're not out looking. So, yeah.
We also have another comment online. I understand the need to drive revenue with the golf course, but it seems a bit excessive having the course closed and outside tournaments so frequently. There have been several already this year which block prime times for playing on Saturdays and Sunday mornings.
James, you want to answer that? I know he's got input.
Chris, you want that? There's only been one. The other ones are internal.
So as it relates to outside tournaments, we have had a few that have already been pre-booked in the past. We're working directly with the FSGA, the Hurricane Junior Tour, and a few other smaller organizations that do bring good money to the golf course. And I do understand it's a balance. It's just figuring out really how many do we need, and it's bottom line driven. So if it's helping us hit that end of the month, end of the year number, and we feel like we're getting the right amount of money for each greens fee from these events coming in, then it's definitely worth it. I can tell you a lot of events in the summer and even into the final quarter of this year. I would like to present to the board for approval prior, just to make sure we do not have too many events and we're taking up those times for the membership on the weekends.
Chris, on that, so there's external events and there's our member sort of tournaments,
Yes.
right? So
Yep.
to date, you've only done one external event, or?
No, we've
You've done-
probably done, just off the top of my head, 5 So we had the 2-day national junior tournament. We've had 2 FSGA events.
So far this year.
So far this year.
Okay.
And for the rest of the year, we have an additional 3 FSGA events and a US amateur tour event as well.
Do they take up the whole day, or is it just a?
Hold on, guys, we're gonna really ask if you could just talk into the microphone, so if you do have something to say, if you could please raise your hand so Stephanie can come to you.
Do they take up the whole day, or do they take up several hours of the day?
So the Hurricane Junior Tour, which was a 2-day event, was originally scheduled for a front and back 9 start, double wave, morning and afternoon. Their numbers were not as high as we anticipated or they promised us. So that's why there was an email that went out to allow membership to know you can book in later in the afternoon. But the majority of the events that I'm seeing come in right now are approximately 75 players. We have a couple smaller ones that we can also shotgun with a few of the member events as well. But again, it's price per round. Does it make sense? What does our history look like? How much member play do we get on certain days? That's kind of what we look at when we determine whether or not we're bringing in other outside events. Thank you.
Fred's got a question.
She's coming.
I think just from a communication standpoint, if every once in a while we would find out that the normal Saturday we're bringing this much revenue, we have this event come in, we're bringing this much.
Fred, would you really talk louder?
It would alleviate some people's concerns if we get some.
So just understanding, so communicating the total revenue brought in from some of these events.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. For sure.
Okay, we do not have James Guinan here yet, our food and beverage director, so we are going to move on with the agenda, and then if James does come, we will then allow him to do his food and beverage update.
Thank you, Stephanie. So we have James Stone online. We'll be giving the board announcements for the board. James?
Thanks, John. Point of sale. You'll remember back in January when we rolled out 4Ts, we did a test down at the Golf Grill for allowing certain members to charge accounts, and we wanted to see how that system started.
James, I'm so sorry, if you could speak a little bit louder, we are having a little trouble. You're coming in very clearly, we just need you to speak a little closer to your microphone if possible.
Okay, sorry about that. Is that better?
Much better, much better.
There we go. I'm harnessing my inner Stephanie. If you recall, when we rolled out 4Ts, we did a test pilot of charging down at the Golf Grill for our point of sale system. Through the last number of months, we've been identified some challenges, and we've been able to fix those items. So we are now into the stage of being able to roll out the next phase, which will be allowing members to start charging down at the Golf Grill. The charging down at the Golf Grill will not impact your minimums. So that minimum will continue to exist only at the plaza at this time. We will look in the future to see what we can do as it relates to that, but we are not at that point as of yet. In order to facilitate, and you don't need to take notes on this, but because an email will be coming out, but in order to facilitate the charging down at the Golf Grill, we are going to need certain things to have happen. Members are going to need their own accounts. Some spouses share one account, and that's okay if you want to continue to do it, but the spouse that is just sharing that account will not be able to charge at the Golf Grill. It will be seamless to you because most people are either a 4-digit number and then a -01 or -00, whatever the case might be. We will need to start uploading. Members will have to upload a picture of themselves onto 4Ts. The purpose of that is at the plaza, we use the plaza cards. Down at the Golf Grill, we don't have, it's not as convenient from what the member feedback that we've gotten. So This will allow for a better member experience, which is something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. So at that point, we would be able to, as those get uploaded, Stephanie will have to do, and the HOA office will do the verification of those, and then the account will be activated. We anticipate that in June, all of that rollout will begin and people will be able to start charging down at the golf grill. You will also need a credit card on file. That'll be a big issue later on in tonight's agenda. Once we've started that process, we are then moving to the pro shop. And as it relates to the pro shop, we will be running a test pilot similar to what we did with the golf grill. We're going to be selecting a few accounts, have them start making their charges at the golf grill. We want to make sure everything runs smoothly. We don't anticipate any challenges there, and we expect a full rollout of the POS in the golf pro shop September 1, right after we get back from our full shutdown in August. So I think by and large, this has been the POS has been a successful rollout, and we're just going to continue with the momentum we have. Do you want me to go straight, Stephanie, right into the other one, or you want me to deal with it?
We do have a question, James, so give us one moment.
Hi, James. Thanks very much for all the work that you do for the for the board, because I know you work really hard. Questions on this, couple things. Are credit cards run daily then, in which case when you charge down at the golf grill, it's not charged to your account and it becomes a monthly Visa card run? It's going to be done daily, I assume. Otherwise, that's a cash flow issue. And then the second part of my question is, if you run stuff down at the golf grill, where are you getting in terms of a summarized statement of your charges for golf?
Okay, the first part I'll let Alan deal with on the running of the accounts. The second part I can deal with on your monthly statement that you get right now. I think, Marilyn, yours, I'm not sure if you're in the test or not, but if you weren't, then you would only have seen the plaza charges. As you see those on your statement now, there'll be a section for the plaza. Then there'll be another section where you'll be able to see the golf grill purchases. Once we get to the pro shop, there'll be a third section where you can see those, and then you can do your reconciliations however you see fit. But they will all be there, same system as what you currently get or enjoy from the plaza. Alan, you want to handle the running of the accounts?
Once we work through the process, I mean, our initial thought process will be monthly, but all you have to do is get past 1 month, and then, you have that one impact on cash flow month one, and after that, it's just going to be rolling. You're going to get last month's in this month, et cetera. So we believe we have the ability to cover that, because we didn't want to have a separate process to bill daily versus a monthly.
I just have one question reference to point of sale. The cart girl is supposed to have a separate machine. Are we going to roll that out or at the same time so that we can actually charge on the cart rather than having to give over your card and wait for her to finish her round before you get back in?
So Campbell, on that one, we have had James has gotten to that system.
James has arrived, so.
Oh, there he is. Then James, you can take it. Sorry, I can't see him.
First off, good evening. So I have a meeting with 4Ts on Wednesday, so we have 2 extra tablets that we have over the plaza. We're actually going to be bringing them over as well, along with the tablet that's over there at the moment. And we're going to try to get all those connected this Wednesday to start working on it to make sure that they're all up and running before we start changing over.
So one of the issues, Campbell, was the printer wouldn't connect anywhere on the golf course to the tablet. So like if you wanted the receipt right then and there, because we want to make it work for members, we also want to make it work for public play.
It's the public play I'm looking at, because
Right.
we can lose an awful lot of money.
Yep, agreed. So that's part of what James is working on as well, is to get the capability to print right there in the Bev cards. And then just.
Sorry, we had our IT company out to try to work on the tablets. We're trying to work with the internet right now because it's a little bit slow at the moment, but once we get that all up and running, we're trying to get those 3 tablets up and running so we can have an extra tablet behind the counter just to make sure that, we're a little bit more efficient with payment as well, because I see myself working with one POS system in the golf grill. When it gets busy, it can get, have a line at the door, waiting to be paying for stuff, but we're definitely trying to make that a little bit more efficient over there after that.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, James, next.
James?
The golf club operating hours for both the pro shop and the golf grill. We're going to be making some adjustments to accommodate the later sunsets and allow for more member social activity. So if we deal first with the pro shop. Pro shop is going to move to, starting in June, is going to move to 8 o'clock closure, and then we'll be phasing that down as obviously the sun sets earlier as we get closer to the fall. This is a two-pronged approach. The most important part of that is from a security point of view. We are having feedback, and it comes from some of the late public play, where they're on the golf course, and if something does go wrong, they have literally nowhere to call. So at that point, we have whatever, a cart broken down on 4 green that we might not know about for an hour or something. In addition, Chris has been able to manage his staff to move around schedules so that the hit for budget is not going to happen. We're just going to readjust schedules. Remember, we're talking about 14 hours additional at the peak. So, and then that will eventually go back to a 0 increment. In addition to all of that, we also have to start dealing with the protection of the asset, mainly the golf course. And this time of year, we get an inordinate amount of people wandering the golf course, bikes on the golf course, football, basketball, I guess probably not that, baseball, whatever have you. Not only is that a safety issue, it is also a concern that something's going to get damaged. I know that Chris is actively looking to be able to get a ranger additional within budget. We have the hours, and being able to then be able to have someone out on the golf course until the 8 o'clock doing the drive-bys to make sure that we are providing that type of service. In addition, we have a number of events, member events, the new ones, the Wednesday night, the Thursday night, and the Friday night that is starting to generate some traction. We're seeing 20 plus players, and those people need to have a level of service that all of us enjoy if you're playing early in the day, as well as it's an opportunity for those in our community that work, that they're not limited only to golfing on the weekends, to be able to get themselves a club-owned cart at 6 o'clock or 6:30 and be able to 9 holes, 10 holes, whatever the case might be. Coinciding with this is we're going to steal a little bit of Patty and Campbell's initiative, where they did the darts concept. We have 4 other days in the week, Monday through Thursday, that we're going to start introducing more social events, adding the hours in the golf grill from Monday to Friday to 8 o'clock close. That's the 3 days of the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to accommodate mostly our member events type of stuff that we have already on the golf course. But we want to drive revenue and make it more of a country club atmosphere by having you come down on Monday night or Tuesday night, and it might be cornhole night, it might be sports trivia, which is becoming very popular on the off nights of the darts. It's getting that same activity level happening down all throughout the week. Mitch is currently also working, when we get past Labor Day, of having a cover band series, which will then really start to open up that asset, the asset being the golf grill, for some events that can generate revenue from sources that we don't normally get. Specifically, most of our stuff has been always traditionally from the golfing community. We want to capture all 937 houses and start building more of a inclusive type of environment where you're going to come down there for the social part, meet some friends, spend some money. Then we also, the one that we were talking about actually earlier this afternoon, is our merchandise in the golf shop. Chris is going to be issuing, Chris and Aurelia actually, will be issuing some specials throughout the week, sending those out by e-blast. We're also looking at being able to have pop-up stores here at the plazas so that we can start capturing people that might not actually ever get into our pro shop. So it's about driving revenue that doesn't actually hit our tee sheets, which then allows that tee sheet, as Chris was saying earlier, to open up for more member type of play. So in all, I think as we start to make those moves, we're going to now get a more inclusive and camaraderie type of environment. And I think, hats off to Chris and his staff and James and his staff for actually bringing this all together, because I think it really is going to be good for the community.
Can I just say, well done to everybody, just what you said. It's brilliant that we're going to get the club open. The big problem will be the shade to prevent us getting burnt in the sun. And I'd just like to know where we are with getting some kind of cover now that the tent has been taken down. The other thing is also maybe possibly opening the driving range. Not everybody wants to go out and play, but they might want to come and practice. So that with these longer evenings, allowing the driving range to open longer would actually be beneficial too. And finally, the last thing I have to say is about the communication from FSR that these things are happening. And the reason I say that is last week, James and his wife put on a trivia night. And the week before, the last time he did it was really well attended because it had been publicized well in advance. Friday night, there was 30 minutes notice that this event was happening. It was, because that's what went out in the email, and I still have it. And Mitch actually said in it, oh, this is happening in 30 minutes.
But we've sent out prior communication about it.
But when it's a new event like that, it's the same with the darts. When it's a new event, people need to be bombarded with it because they hear it once and then they forget about it. And you could say it's in the calendar or whatever, but if you're not bombarding people with it, and saying, this is happening, because Gabrielle does it on Facebook, it's everything you send out and puts it on Facebook. So we have 2 points of attack for these things, And over in the golf club at 8 o'clock, we'll need a lot of communication to let the community know that we're actually doing it. And we're trying to drive up that revenue.
I'd just like to agree with Campbell here on like our Wednesday night league. No communication really goes out. I've done it on Facebook, copying images that Mitch put out, but it really needs to be done repetitively, every couple of days until everything gets established. Otherwise, everybody's going, I don't have Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. So if they don't read my post on Facebook, they don't even know that we have an event. So stuff like that needs to be coming out, like Campbell said, regularly until this thing takes off. So communication is something I think really needs to be a key thing here that we need to address.
Or we'll never get it back.
I'd love to talk. But no, but the history on this, the Wednesday night scramble was one of the funnest, most popular social events we had.
You should talk a little bit closer.
I'm not used to having a microphone. To go back in the history, the Wednesday night scramble was one of the most popular, highly attended groups. Mark, that was your favorite thing, and you went just because you could play golf and then go have a burger and beers. And getting it publicized and letting people know to drive back what can be a really good social event midweek.
Communications now.
And that's why people unsubscribe.
That's
But
the
noted.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody asking about the communication. I just want to make a point that on the golf side, we've had some communication that comes through Golf Genius, but that doesn't cover the entire 937 homes. So if we are going to communicate, it could be both, but it definitely needs to be FSR as well. And so I've noticed a couple things, and it's just Golf Genius. And that's kind of like preaching to the choir. If we want to get revenue from the whole community, it has to be FSR as well.
Is there a preferred style of communication that most people prefer? occur because I've seen 3 or 4, maybe more than that. I mean, does anyone use the 4Ts login page?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because, I mean, I'm sorry, Ms. Collins. I know you sent me a few emails on that. It's taken us a little while to get to that point. But just having an idea of where most people would be. I mean, for Facebook, some people are there. Obviously, listen every avenue of communication. So,
That's the key.
Yeah, I will say that, I mean, we've been trying to focus on this as well. So what we've done is to streamline the communication process. All communications now, whether it's through Golf Genius or the Connect portal, it's all going through Mitch now. So we don't have some coming from, Chris for golf, and then some from me, and then some from Mitch. So all communications now are going through Mitch, no matter how it's being communicated. So we're trying to streamline that because we are aware that not everybody on Golf Genius has Connect and vice versa. So we are trying, everything is funneling through Mitch now, and we are sending anything that goes out on Golf Genius also out on Connect.
Yeah.
Comment. Right now, everybody knows Monday night means up at the Oasis, it's burger night done right. They send the flyer out every single week. We know everything they have every week. It's flyers, not a lot of words. You don't have to read a book to find out what things we have going on. You see a flyer, it catches your eye and it says, oh, sports trivia, I'll go do that. They're going to have bingo. They're going to have a comedy night. You know, because it's in a flyer and it's simple. Reading through on a Friday, 3 or 4 pages in an email, not happening. And it needs to be earlier rather than later. So Friday's too late to tell us what's happening Saturday. Everybody's made plans. So we need to be ahead of the game instead behind. And the more, the better.
Thank you.
Sorry, can I just ask where we are with the tent then as well?
Yeah, James, do you have an update for us?
yeah, it's still,
You could,
So as of right now, the fee has been processed, so I'm just waiting on approval on that then as well. So the application has been put in, it got put in 2 weeks ago, so it's ready. So
with the county.
again, with the county, it could take a week, could take a couple of weeks. Well, the permit has to be 15 feet away from the building. So we're looking, as of right now, once we get that approval, we're going to probably put on the grass for the moment, but then for Memorial Day Monday, the tent is going up where the carts are, just to accommodate keeping everything streamlined and keeping it together for food, for the satellite bar that we're going to have out there. So, but then once approval gets in for the tent, we will be placing it over in the grass area.
I hate to bring ants to the picnic, but if you put it in the grass, that's where the mosquitoes are. Spray the grass for mosquitoes.
That was another part of the question I was going to ask.
Was, now that we're opening late, what are the chances of getting the area sprayed for mosquitoes?
So our current pest control company does mosquito control in all of the areas. They do the plaza pool deck area, the golf outdoor area, and also the north pool. I mean, we can ask them when this tent goes up if they could do a few extra applications for us. I don't think they would have an issue with that.
Hi, sorry. I took my daughters to the North Pool Park and we had to leave right away because it was covered in mosquitoes and all types of bugs. It was all over. So just hoping that gets resolved.
Yep.
James, is that for the same tent that we already have?
Yes. Yes, it is. That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. James, next is the golf maintenance update.
So, okay, this was put on the agenda at the last minute before we got the notice out. The reason being is we had a motor on one of our pumps go down, and we weren't actually sure what we were going to be dealing with. So in the abundance of caution, we included it. Now, Ethan, being Ethan, was able to pull whatever he does and make that pump back operational. So that motor is now good to go. However, he will be bringing in outside company this week to take a look at it because we're not completely sure that we're out of the woods. The other part that he's going to be looking at is the entire pump station. And that pump station is part of our 558 lawsuit with Lennar. But Ethan has expressed concerns that we might be having to deal with that sooner as opposed to later, and might not be able to wait for resolution on the 558 lawsuit with Lennar. So having said that, this is more to kind of just start getting people thinking that this could be coming down. Now, these items, the first motor part is a budgeted item, so if it's need be, it's already included. The pump station, that's a little bit different. I'm not saying that we have an issue yet. He's just starting to raise a level of concern, so we just need to keep this in the back of our minds, and in the abundance of sharing information and letting you all know where we're at and what's on the board's mind, that is an item that we are now on our radar screen that we may have to be dealing with in the coming months, years, whatever the case might be. Question?
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
The pump station would come out of the reserves fund.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Just a lot earlier than we would expect, possibly. That's the risk.
Nothing on mine.
No?
Nope.
Okay, moving on the agenda, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
Nope.
Any questions from the audience? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, there's a question. Was there a question?
Stephanie, come, just we can move on.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is new business. A would be the accounts recommended for finding of $100 per day up to $1,000 at the June 5th, 2024 Covenants Committee meeting. We have a motion from the board.
So I'm going to take this, I motion that we table this item. We do need to speak with Ashley, the attorney for the HOA, as there has been some items raised that we need to get further clarification. So at this point, I don't think that we can actually address this. So I motion to table it.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Next on new business is the food and beverage outlet outstanding balance policy.
I can talk about it. To get to it.
So since we started using 4Ts, the new POS system, we have been communicating with homeowners that they need to have a credit card on file because their credit card information did not transfer over from the old POS system to the new POS system. That communication is not reached everyone. We have been trying very hard to call homeowners with outstanding balances because what's happening is if you don't have a credit card on file, the balance isn't getting paid. So we have people who just have been accumulating a balance since January, unaware that they weren't automatically signed up for auto pay. We have had the staff calling people, but it's in the several hundreds that are missing the credit card information. So we have tasked staff with making phone calls regularly, trying to get that credit card information. But the board wanted to create a policy that basically states that if a homeowner has an outstanding balance that is over 60 days in any food and beverage outlet, their food and beverage outlet amenity access will be denied. They will not be able to do the monthly billing for that. So that's what this policy talks about. So it's going to allow us to be able to turn off their access to use the Plaza restaurant. And then when we do monthly billing for the Golf Grill, it will turn off their access there as well. That way they'll be flagged in the system and they won't be able to charge anything further to their prepaid food minimum until they've settled their outstanding balance to the association.
Thank you, Stephanie. Do we have a motion from the board?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board? Comments from the audience?
So we just talked about communication, right? And I think, again, it's people aren't seeing emails, people aren't seeing the communications, they're spoken to here, they don't have time to participate. And again, it's just, we keep going back to communication, and policy is one thing. If you guys want to put a policy together, it makes sense. But, we keep talking about communication, but people are missing a lot of communication. There's not enough communication.
Not that there's not enough, they're opting out.
Yeah, a lot of folks are opting out of communication as well, because when they do receive communication, they don't want to see it, so they'll opt out. Now, Stephanie and her team have been making phone calls to those that are on the list, so they're trying to reach out that way for those that have been opting out of the emails. Some been successful, but not as successful as we'd like to see. So that's the reason why we're putting the policy together.
But how else do we get that communication out?
So if they got a violation, right, you'd send them a letter. Even if they opted out of the communication, you would send them a letter. Do the same thing with these outstanding balances. Mail them a letter.
Yeah, understood. The issue is that when we mail a letter, it does cost the association money, and we have to send, I'm not exaggerating, about 800 of those letters. So it's more cost effective for us to be able to make those phone calls. And when we're calling a homeowner and talking about their outstanding balance and taking credit card information, it's about a 10-minute phone call per homeowner. So it's taken us a very long time to get through that list. I do have a comment online that they were in a similar situation and they did not receive a phone call from us. That's right. I don't doubt that, but it's because we're working through about 800 accounts that owe us money. So we are making those calls one by one and we are settling them. At the same time, when we call, not every time are people willing to give us their credit card information. And at that point, there's nothing that we can do, which is why we've created this policy. So this allows the association a little more control over the situation.
Stephanie, just to be clear on the policy. So I'm outstanding for 60 days. So I'm no longer able to charge to the Plaza account.
Correct.
I can still come in with my credit card and use it. If I come in tomorrow, all right, I'm outstanding 60 days, but I can come in and use it. But why don't we just prohibit them from coming in at all until they settle the bill?
So the reason why we can't is because after consulting with Ashley, the attorney, because these charges are not on the HOA ledger and they're a separate billing system, we are unable to deny amenity access. So this is, in simple terms, the best we can do to try and get the situation under control. Yes.
How many are now? 90%.
I'm sorry?
How many are now outstanding in terms of what you're calling them? It's not 800 now.
No, it's not 800 now. No, I'd say we're more right now in like the 600, area. Yeah, it's a lot.
And again, it can be,
Now-
it's not just 937, it's times 2 or 3, you know, again, if your spouse also have one, you know.
And some people, it may be like a $5 balance that they owe. Some, it may be a lot more. But yeah, it's a lot.
I have a question. So you're asking for the credit card information rather than letting them go on and walking them through the process? Because if they don't want to give you a credit card, can't you go through and say, these are the steps?
Yes, we give them all of the options on how to pay when we talk to them on the phone. So we ask them, can you please go online and put your credit card information? A lot of them would rather just sit on the phone and do it with us and sign up for auto pay. But usually those phone calls generate a lot of extra questions, and then, you know, we start talking about just the 4Ts at website, how to navigate, how to look at different things. So, I mean, each phone call does last approximately 10 minutes.
And once again, if you need volunteers, there's a lot of people here all the time, more than willing to help out and explain to them, because this happens a lot.
Yeah, I
And the
appreciate that.
contacts on 4Ts need to be updated.
Yes, we're aware. Yeah.
Including the voicemail.
Oh, yeah. No, just a comment, the golf course, when I call, it's up past
Bro.
road boys. Chris, I want to hear your voice or one of your staff. It's a nice voice.
You want Irish accent?
But I'm so glad you're here. And I would love an updated.
My voicemail.
It would be awesome.
Any other comments from the audience? Anything online?
No.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is the plaza painting proposal.
Give me one moment, please. Okay, so we have talked for several weeks now about the exterior plaza painting and the interior plaza painting. So the exterior painting for the plaza is slated for 2024 in our reserves. Interior painting is slated for 2025. So the board did ask me to obtain proposals for this project and to see if doing both exterior and interior together would result in cost savings. So we engaged 4 contractors and had them come out, and we gave them the scope of work. And we did receive, we received 3 thorough proposals, and one of the vendors was unable to provide us with a proposal with the given specifications that we gave them. And additionally, it was just a different proposal. They wanted the association to provide the paint, and the other 3 contractors, everything was included. So the 3 contractors did provide us a proposal, and we are recommending to move forward with the proposal from Vice Painting. And again, this project will be funded out of reserves. We are recommending to do both of the projects at the same time, which the vendor can do, which will result in a cost savings for the project.
Do we have a motion by the board? Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
So one thing, Stephanie, I know I'd asked you off the side, but so everybody hears it. So like something like the Plaza Restaurant here, I would assume they would paint this on a Monday when there's not activity, right? So we're not going to shut down the plaza to the extent
Correct.
we can. And same thing for any other areas, you know, whenever it's got the least usage or,
Yes.
'cause I assume we have to close off some areas.
Yeah, they do only work during regular business hours, so it'll be Monday through Friday. But they did agree that they can do the interior of this restaurant on a Monday and finish it within the one day, so we wouldn't have to close any operations. It includes the walls, the ceilings, outside they prep, they pressure wash, they seal, they're gonna do the pergolas as well, the bathrooms, interior, exterior of the outdoor restrooms, the gym area, everything.
And they move furniture, like, in other words, you don't
Yes.
need any of that, okay.
They move furniture, they put the drop cloths down, they take care of the process from A to Z, so.
Okay, and just for everybody in the community, the quotes range from 34,000 to the one we're recommending is just under 29,000. And if they did it separately, it would be like 32 with this vendor. So this is the preferred vendor, plus it's also the least expensive of the vendors. And they're all in the similar ballpark. It's interesting, some have a lot higher for exterior, a lot lower for interior, but again, it's like 30, 35, 30, and 29.
So I have a question. The timing of this, it wasn't set out in any of these proposals. When are we looking to start? And are we starting external or internal?
So we can choose. So, if we can tell the vendor which one we would like to do first. He said that they were open to that. And as same thing for starting, he said that he would need just at least a 2-week notice on approval.
All right, and then in light of recent conversations in this room, communication, it sounds as if since it's normal business hours, we're gonna have the gym shut down for at least one of the days. How are we gonna communicate that out? And then with respect to the rest of it, how often and how frequently are we gonna get the communication out to the community so they all know this is about to happen?
Yeah, that's a good question. So after the proposal is approved, we're going to have a consultation and walkthrough with the contractor to talk about specific scheduling and how long each area will take, and if we need to close it, how long we need to close it for. So once we have all of that information, we'll send out a schedule via email. And I'd assume that the residents who run the Facebook pages can get that information out via Facebook as well.
Do post them as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
No.
Comments from the audience? Nothing online? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Okay, so we're at the end of the, excuse me, the end of the,
James, we forgot to have James do his update.
James.
Yes, we're going to go
You
back
almost got away.
Back to part of the manager's report. You almost got away.
and do our food and beverage update with James Guinan, your food and beverage director.
All right, I'm back again. Alrighty, so just a quick update. I'm going to start off with golf right now. Some of you who have actually been around golf this week, you have got to meet our new sous chef, Michael Healy. He's come in, he's replaced Curtis, who left us there a couple of weeks ago. Michael's coming from a lot of culinary background, a lot of overall general manager background as well. So his guest service experience is definitely up there and definitely going to be a great addition to the team in terms of guest experiences moving forward. This Monday, big day for us. We have our Memorial Day event. Those of you who are aware, we are going to be doing a barbecue dinner. So it's going to be ribs. We got some chicken, and we have smoked brats as well with choice of sides, fountain chips. Should be a great experience. We're actually getting a smoker trailer, compliments of Cheney Brothers. So that's going to be on display. So it's going to be a nice little interactive experience to display for you all. Again, just a second with the extended opening hours. With that being said, we will be putting in happy hour specials going into that from Monday to Friday from probably 5 to 7. So in that way we can try gain a lot more people to come in during those days as well. Unfortunately, that's excluding CG Brew. Sorry. But again, this, along with Mitch, we're going to collaborate, try to get some more social events going on there. with the Wednesday event as well. We want to try to get that going as well. But hopefully we can start seeing a lot more faces down there so we can have a great time down there. Plaza, we got Wine Down Wednesday coming on this Wednesday. A new and improved charcuterie board is going to be on display for you all. A lot more varieties of meats, a lot more varieties of cheeses, and we got breadsticks, grilled bread, grilled focaccia bread, some chutneys, and some olives marinated as well. So that's going to be a great addition. We also have some new wines coming our way as well this Wednesday, something that we don't store here. So we're going to be doing that on special also as well.
We have a quick question. Is there a plan for a update to the menus anytime soon?
Yes, we're looking at end of June rollout for Plaza, and then I'm going to be looking at trying to get first week of July in golf as well.
Any update on the
Liquor license, we're working on a day-to-day basis. Actually, we do have a note on that, sorry.
extension?
But obviously the tables and chairs have been ordered. We are waiting on them to come in. We're working on it on a day-to-day basis with the Department of Liquor right now at the moment. So as soon as we get all those furniture comes in, we're going to be getting inspected by them. And then obviously once that gets up and running, we're ready to go. We're not going to be running into any issues as of right now. So we have not lost it yet. The plan is for the tables and chairs outside, so we can't fit anything more inside, unfortunately, because it's fire hazards. But we are actually putting it for outside, and then with future plans with the shading, with hopefully we get in a tent. But I know we're working on that in the background to see what we can do in the long term as well, to make it a little bit more of an outdoor area. A little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more cooler as well.
We do have another question online. Will homeowners be asked for any input before new menus are established?
100%. I know we have that website or the email set up for those of you who want to put in any input in the menus, whether it be here or at golf. So feel free to send any input into there. Also, I do have my business card out there if you want to pick one up on the way out, or if you see me at the golf club during the day or over here, please feel free to pull me aside and let me know if there's something that you'd like to be put on the menu. Chili cheese fries.
Just don't make away the porter salad.
We do have one generic question online.
Okay.
Are we still planning on putting in the pond on hole number 9? And if so, when? Are any other modifications to the course scheduled?
So I'll take that then. So the pond on 9 has been stopped. And the reason being is the primary driver of that was Ethan had a clog in one of his major lines. Ethan was able to correct that. And based on that, the concept was to switch away from it because it no longer served the overriding major purpose of why we were doing it. But I think there's a couple of things that should be noted here. That one is that Ethan, again, I don't think we appreciate how lucky we are on our maintenance crew, that they were able to address that issue and get it resolved. The other thing is that pond was being funded mostly from the CGMGA, who donated $5,000. They've left that money in with the beautification, and now it'll go to some other one of the selected items. I don't have any idea what that is at this point. But it really gets back to what Alan talked about earlier on the beautification at $175,000 since inception, of how as a community we continue to come together to support items like this, and how lucky we are to have some of these key staff members.
Thank you, James. Any other questions? Okay, we're at the end of the agenda, so we'll open it up to the floor. Are there any questions, comments?
I hope to see everybody Monday. Happy to.
Exactly. You mentioned earlier, I think James mentioned earlier, that the pump house has been repaired on the golf course, and is part of the 558 claim against Lennar. We employed Becker, I guess, probably 9 months ago now. We haven't really had an update on the 558 since we employed them. They came and did a presentation to the community at that time in terms of what they were going to do and how they were going to support us with that. Is it possible to have them come back and give us an update on where they are with the claim?
Actually,
I don't want to put you on the spot to tell us where you are now, but maybe we can get Becca to come back and give us an update.
I actually just spoke to Becker.
Hi, Neil. I actually just spoke to Becker and recommended that. So they are planning to put something together and make another presentation to the community. So they should be out in the next month or two.
Stephanie, just out of curiosity, did they do did Lennar send the people for the villa roof inspection or no? Because
They did, and then it got rescheduled. They did some of it today.
Okay. So there is ongoing activity with our attorneys and Lennar as well on 558, but we just recently talked about getting to do another update to the community of where we stand and what the status is and timing.
Hello. I was wondering if we could have consideration for earlier access to the North Pool during the earlier sunrise months. And is there any negatives to that? I think we have access at 9 o'clock.
As at 9?
9, yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I don't see any issue with that.
It closes at 9, so yeah, could we do 7 or 8 in the morning?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me make sure I have to do some things with the computer, but yeah.
Just let us know what time.
Sure.
What time is it closed now?
I think it's 8 or 9. Yeah.
This is a different subject. Is there any update on where we stand in electrifying the sprinkler systems for the villas from 110 instead of the 9-volt battery systems that are there now?
We provided that proposal that was like the last proposal.
I believe that we provided a proposal from United to the Villa Committee. Like, it was one of the last things that we did before the committees were dissolved. And I believe that it was discussed and then the answer was not to move forward with it based on the cost.
I heard about that, and I was on the facilities committee.
Yeah.
It should have been dealing with that. That was under our blanket.
I can look for the original proposal that we did receive. I can send it to you. Just to look over.
It just died, as far as I know. Haven't heard anything.
Thank you. Thanks for the update on the 9th hole on the golf course. The second half of this question is there anything else being planned for updates to the golf course?
James, did you hear that?
Sorry. No, could you repeat that, Bob?
Yeah, is there any other plans for changes to the golf course that's coming up that you're aware of?
Other than the beautification projects that have been submitted to us, I'm not aware of any, no.
Yeah, back to the North Pool. I was there last night and the lights were out in the pool itself. And has anybody looked into the heater, putting the heater in? Because it's just getting comfortable right now.
Yeah, so the lights in the pool are on a timer. So if we do change the timing of access, we would need to adjust the times that the lights can go on. Regarding the heat with the pool, we were asked to obtain proposals for solar heating options for the North Pool. So that is what I am doing. We have a solar company scheduled to come out at the end of this next week to just survey the area and see if it's feasible given the space that we have over there.
And the bugs. The mosquitoes were really bad. Last year it was fire ants. I haven't seen those yet, but
Yeah, I'll give a call to our pest control company tomorrow and see if they can come out and do a few extra mosquito applications.
Okay, just updates again on beautification items that they're proposing. Can we maybe get on a list on one of the websites showing what things that they're going to do and in order? Because I know you guys told us 6 months ago what was on the list and you approved them, but I can't remember what they were. So if we can see stuff like that, and even the lawsuit that we have, is there a way for us to even get an idea of what items are on that list? Because we hear about this, but we don't know what's covered. Pump house, what else? Just so we have an idea as homeowners what the lawsuit covers.
We'll ask Becker to go through that and provide whatever updates that they possibly can share on that. And as far as the beautification, we'll ask them also to put that information out, and we'll try to get that out to everybody also.
If the lawyer says we can share some of these items, can we get it written down on a site so that we can look at it? Just hear about it one time from him, and then 6 months later, we hear about it again?
We'll ask him to do that, yes. Any other comments or questions?
Just want to ask, on the weekends when we don't have events at the plaza, is it possible to, are those speakers working over the area at the plaza there? Perhaps
Which ones? The outside?
that are outside,
They do.
the patio area,
The ones outside?
The ones right out here?
the ones right out there, down to the ceiling?
Yeah, they work.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, sometimes, like yesterday I was here and there was no one here. But I just think that if you have a little music on, if something playing, just seems so much, music tends to bring people out to the pool area for some reason. And they'll eat and drink and come out with the families, but it was super, you could hear a pin drop yesterday at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just wanted to see, again, just, you don't have to have somebody monitoring the music.
Well, we should be there should be music playing all the time throughout, because the same music plays throughout the restaurant, throughout the gym, and the outside area. So if it's not playing for some reason, I mean, we can have just James address that with the restaurant staff, because they should be able to monitor that and turn it on if it's not playing. It's supposed to be playing all the time, though.
On that note, I proposed over a year ago to try and get the speakers hooked up to microphones and to the TVs out there so that we don't have one speaker like this in one location blasting out the table that's closest to the speaker, and then the people all the way on the other side can't hear anything. So if we can readdress that and relook into that, I know it costs money. I know it has to go in the budget because that's what I was told a year ago. We don't have the money for it, but more and more people are complaining about, I don't want to sit next to the speaker. I don't want to be there when somebody's doing karaoke. I don't want to be there when somebody's yelling bingo and he's got to haul out this big speaker out. So if we can somehow get the ceiling speakers hooked up to a mic or hooked up to something else so that everybody can hear it kind of nice and evenly without being blasted at one location.
Yeah.
Look into that.
And I'm sure Mitch related to you. He was here the one night. We had a safety issue. There used to be a sign that said no jumping on the wall. It was on the fence over the waterfall. Believe it or not, parents are letting their children get up, walk around the edge, and jump in off that wall.
Yeah, he did bring that up to me. We're looking at revising a lot of signage just around all of the amenities.
But until then, we need someone that's going to be here, especially on the weekend when it happens, that has the authority to tell them to not do that?
So actually, James just had a meeting with all of his staff, and he has empowered all of them to be able to take that action. Yes,
And as homeowners here, we should all support them. Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I know, Stephanie, you added this to your announcement reminding people about the smoking
Yeah.
in the area, but are you guys gonna put up signs or anything as well as that? And does vaping included in that, should be included in that? Because
Yeah.
I think that, if they vape, it's really not smoking, but it is. So.
Yeah, we're working on revamping all of the signage for the plaza, inside the gym area and the North Pool area. So that will be included. Yep.
Any further questions? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
It's too early. It's